All right, everybody. Paradox of Sports, episode 50. Jack, is it crazy we've done 50 of these?
You know it's crazy.
That seems wild. We 15 seconds ago just got off with our guest tonight. Great interview. Kept this gentleman way longer than we wanted to do it. So we're going to get to that in a minute. Is there anything from what you've done so far through the first 50 that really sticks out, Jack?
Just the mentity of the people we got interviewed. We interviewed Carl Mecklenburg. We interviewed WWE wrestlers, Carlito, Vicky Guerrero, Jess Lockwood, Austin Eckler, Kurt Schilling.
Yeah, it's been extremely wild to think that this is everything we've done.
So I need to look at this stat real quick. I need to figure out how many of our videos we did not have an interview.
I think just the first two. Okay, wait. While you look that up, let's throw to our interview first, and then we're gonna come back and we'll discuss stats. Is that a deal?
Yeah, Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to throw to the guest or do you want to throw to the guest?
You could throw it to the guest.
For the 50th one, I get to do it?
Or no, we got to do it together at the same time.
Okay, so he's the Colorado State University head basketball coach, formerly of the Sheridan College, head coach, Matt Hammer.
Hammer.
We want to welcome on a very special guest, head men's basketball coach at CSU-Pueblo, Matt Hammer, has taken some time to join us tonight. Coach, thanks for squeezing us in.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me. To be honest, this is the first podcast I've ever been on, so I'm a little nervous. So take it easy on me, Jack.
Okay.
There's no need to be nervous. This is the first podcast Jack and I've ever hosted together, so. We're 50. This is the 50th episode, so we do feel like we're getting a little better.
Yeah, I had to put the good shirt on. I heard it was the 50th episode here.
Awesome. We appreciate you dressing up. So, all right, Jack, take her away.
Talk about growing up in the sports that you played. Were you always a basketball player?
Oh, good question. I grew up in a real small town in eastern South Dakota called Elkton. Elkton had, I think, population 650 people. We didn't even have a stoplight, didn't even have a subway, so pretty small. So growing up in a small town, you go from baseball in the summer, football in the fall, basketball in the winter, track or golf in the spring. And so, me personally, having two older brothers that were both a couple years older than me, having a dad that love sports, it's just kind of what we grew up with in the house. So, we grew up on a farm a couple miles outside of town, and we had a lot of room to run around and play games. And we were always having friends over and trying to get, as many guys as we could to get a little tackle football going on in the backyard or some 3-on-3 on the basketball court. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Describe your high school career. Did you play any sports?
I did. So my high school career, kind of like I was talking about, where I was from, and during that time, you don't really specialize in sports like some kids do today. And so, and that's the way, looking back on it, I was pretty fortunate. So we had, like I said, we had football in the fall. I played all 4 years of high school football. All 4 years of high school basketball. I was kind of a late bloomer physically, so I was kind of slow, and so I hated track because I hated losing, and I decided to, my senior year in the spring, go out for golf. And after about the first two meets of getting my butt kicked at JV meets, I decided I better just start shooting some hoops and getting ready for my freshman year of college at Northern State. So. But yeah, I was really involved in high school sports.
So just to clear something up for me real fast. So I'm up in Gillette, Wyoming, actually.
Ooh.
So where are you at? I know you're sure. I was telling Jack before we came on, I can throw baseball to the Pronghorn Center where we live. Like we're right there by Kent. Don't hold that against me. But okay. So kind of explain to me where you were in South Dakota, like down I-90. So are you north or south, or kind of what part of the state were you in?
We're, so Brookings, South Dakota is about 45 minutes north of Sioux Falls, on I-29. And Elkton is about 15 miles to the east. Like the farm that we grew up on literally bordered Minnesota. And so we're as far east as we could get. My mom, she actually grew up in Verdine, Minnesota, right across the border, a few miles from Elkton, where I grew up. So.
Okay, so the outfit I work for, Basin Electric, is based out of Bismarck. We actually have a big gas turbine over in Brookings.
Okay.
So I know, right? I know exactly where you're from. There's some good from where like Jack's dad and I grew up in the Southeast Colorado is in the farming community. You guys got the good dirt. You guys got some of that good black dirt over there.
We do. When you're from South Dakota, you always talk about being East River or West River. East River, east of the Missouri. It's green, it's trees, it's corn, it's farmland, and then you go west, and it's just kind of ranch, geography out there. Just a lot of roaming and areas for cattle to roam and all that stuff, and so
Deadwood.
In Deadwood, yeah, but yeah, you go from Chamberlain to about the Badlands, and there's not a whole lot to really see in that 2 or 3 hour drive. But once you get to the Black Hills, it's a beautiful area.
That's where you were, Jack, this summer at the wedding when you guys went over there through Hot Springs stuff. So Jack did get to go kind of tour through the Black Hills this summer.
There you go.
Yeah.
Little Reptile Gardens, Bear Country, USA.
I went all there. Oh yeah, and also Kevin said that he could throw a ball to the Pronghorn Center. I could probably throw it over the Pronghorn Center.
Yeah,
not bragging or anything.
We're confident Jack could get a ball over the Pronghorn Center if we had to.
There you go. Nice.
Okay. You started with playing at Northern State under legendary coach Don Meyer. Talk about your time there.
Oh wow! I came in as a freshman. Really out of high school, I wasn't very heavily recruited. I actually had more opportunities to go play college football than I did basketball. But, I went on a visit, and actually one of Gillette hometown heroes, Sundance Wicks, on my visit up there at Northern, I believe he was a junior that year. And just hanging around him, hanging around the rest of the guys, Steve Smiley, who's now the head coach of Northern Colorado, and being around Coach Meyer, I really didn't know anything about Northern State, to be honest. Growing up 15 minutes from Brookings, South Dakota, and South Dakota State University, back in the day, South Dakota State University was a big-time D2 place. They led the nation in attendance. They'd average, well over 4,000 fans a game, and that's what I grew up watching. So when SDSU didn't recruit me, I went up to Northern. I was blown away by the support they had. And so once I got up there, I think I was just like any other freshman. I think the first couple of weeks there, I was like, man, I'm in over my head. There's no way I can play at this level. I can compete with these guys. But that's the beauty of Coach Meyer. Just developing guys, believing in guys, and making guys want to work hard and get the most out of them. And on top of that, being surrounded by the teammates that I had, I really lucked out. Looking back at it, I'm glad I didn't get recruited by the school closer to home. I'm glad I ended up at Northern, and my time there was something I'll never forget.
After some time at NSU, you went and coached at Saginaw Valley State. What were your main duties there?
Oh, Saginaw Valley State. So my assistant coach, my last 2 years playing, his name was Randy Baruth. At the time, he was one of the ops guys at University of Utah, right when Larry Kristoviak got the job. He got the head coaching job at Saginaw Valley, and at the time, I was teaching and coaching at the high school level. And it just wasn't quite for me. You know, I wanted to be around guys that really wanted to, you know, be in the gym all summer, all fall, go through the season, and then boom, right back in the gym. Where high school, you know, you got, you know, you kind of, you're playing the hand that you're dealt. Even, you know, we had some great kids, but I was ready to get back to the college level. And Randy called me and asked me if I'd be interested in coming out. Now, the crazy part about it, my duties there, the only way he could get me on staff was if I agreed to help out with the women's team as well. And so, you know, the head women's coach, Jamie Pawinski was her name. She was awesome. I really had a great experience. That, you know, between Jamie and Randy, you know, they did things differently. You know, not that either were doing things better, but it was just different. And it really helped me grow as a coach. And that was actually the first time I'd ever been around women's basketball. And I gained a lot of respect for that side of the game and the young ladies that are college basketball players. And so it was a good experience, you know, not to mention it was in Michigan where I grew up in South Dakota my whole life, never really got out of the state, and being able to go out there, it was awesome. You know, we were five hours from Chicago, 5 hours from Indianapolis, 5 hours from Columbus. I mean, we were, you know, you could cover some ground and see a lot of talent, see a lot of players. You know, so it was fun. I remember actually one of the first team camps I went to, it was I was watching Monte Morris, you know, the Denver Nugget guy, you know, so, and he went on to have a great career at Iowa State, but kind of opened my eyes a little bit when I got out there to, you know, what talent at the high school level is really about.
So my dad there in Southeast Colorado, he coached both girls and boys at the real small school, 1A, like little 100 to 200 kid schools. Yeah. And they were very, very successful at the two places he went. They won a lot. And my daughter's up here in Gillette. Now they play hockey. I don't know anything about hockey. So I am the team mom and the announcer at games. But my dad said something interesting where kind of my first experience, my sister was so much younger than me. I wasn't around her for the high school sports. So my first experience around young women when my daughters got to the high school team level was women are a lot different than men. So my dad, I want to test this on you. So my dad's theory was always boys have to feel good to win. Boys have to feel good to win. Girls have to win. No, boys have to win to feel good. Girls have to feel good to win. Do you buy that?
Yeah. You know, my experience, you know, I was only there a year and a half, helped out with 2 seasons. You know, my experience isn't probably nearly as in-depth as your dad's. The one thing is, man, I tell you what, you know, I've coached a lot of guys that you have to just drag it out of them, competitiveness and desire to win and get better. And there were very few young ladies that I coached or helped coach at Saginaw Valley that you had to rev up each day. You know, the one thing I noticed with the girls was anytime you would come in the gym and help them and put them through a skill workout, like they were all for it, you know, where some guys, you gotta drag them in the gym, you know? So I don't know if I'm really answering your question, but you know,
no, that's okay.
Yeah, no, it just the experience I had, you know, I think so much of it's just based on the individual kid and their background and their upbringing, you know, trying to find those guys and those girls that just love the game and want to pour everything into it, you know, we're lucking out here. We got a few of those guys on our team right now, so we're sitting pretty good.
Okay, one more, Jack, and then I'll quit hijacking. You made the comment about taking that job, and then part of the deal was you were going to help out with the women's program.
Yeah,
that's an opportunity that presents itself that maybe in your plan of what you wanted to do, that is not how you had it written out.
No,
but it was an opportunity that sometimes you have to take advantage of those opportunities so that the next opportunity comes for the next opportunity to come. That sometimes it's not going to be what you want, but if it's on the table, you better take it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the longer you're in this profession, the more you realize that it's so hard to get a job at this level. And a lot of it comes down to luck. A lot of it comes down to timing. You know, I just happened to get the call from Randy and offer me the job, and I took it. I was there for 2 years, and then all of a sudden, Steve Smiley, who was the head coach at Sheridan College, you know, his assistant was leaving, and he called me up and asked me if I'd be interested in coming out there and working for him. And he had told me he had kind of been looking, you know, at some possible head coaching jobs, some D2 head jobs, and maybe some D1 assistant jobs. And you know, he was saying that he thought whoever his assistant was would have a good shot at taking over there at Sheridan. And so I took a chance, you know, and I went out there and 2 months later, you know, I got out there in May, and, you know, by the end of July, he was taking an assistant job at Weber State University. And next thing you know, I was interim head coach, you know, and something I probably wasn't ready for. And you got to kind of learn on the fly. And I don't think anyone's ever going to be ready for a head coaching job. But yeah, the coaching profession is crazy. You know, you just never know, you know, when your break is going to come, when your opportunity is going to come. And, you know, the one thing I learned from Steve was don't take a job just for the title. Don't take a job just for money. Make sure you're taking a job to go work for good people and working for, whether it's if you're an assistant, you know, going to work under a good head coach. If you're a head coach, going to work under a good athletic director. And that's one thing I've always, you know, taken from my time there with Steve, my short time there with Steve.
After Saginaw, you were the head coach at Sheridan Junior College. What's different from being an assistant coach and being a head coach?
Oh, well, you know, sleep, hair. You know, I dyed my hair this morning. I'm usually all white and gray from stressing out, but it's you really don't know until you're actually the head coach. You know, every single decision comes down to you and what you want to do, and you know, no one bats 1,000. You know, no one makes the right decision every time. You just gotta, you know, you gotta trust your gut and do your research and do everything you can to put the program and the team in the best position to do it. And you learn, you know, you learn from your mistakes. I've made plenty. I'm still making plenty, but I'm learning from them, you know, and that's the thing is, you know, you make a mistake, you can hang your head, you can pout, you can sulk, you can quit, or you can come back the next day and work even harder. And that's, you know, that's kind of the mindset I've taken.
Now you coach at CSU-Pueblo. How do your players perceive you as a coach?
Oh, that's a question for them. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of them with a few choice words that would they'd like to describe me with. But you know, I Coach Meyer always said, "Be demanding without demeaning," and I feel like I'm a demanding coach. You know, I like things done a certain way. I like things done to a certain standard, but I never want to take anything, you know, too far and cross the line, make things personal, you know, and that's something early in my career, you know, that I did, you know, before I was married and before I had kids. I wasn't mature enough to be a head coach. You know, that's one thing I've told people before. You know, I think it should be a requirement to be a head coach is you need to be a father or a mother, because when you're entrusted with, you know, other people's kids and children and trying to better them and put them in good situations, you really need to understand, you know, what it's like to be a father, to be a mother, and to have a child. Because you know, at this stage, you know, I really believe the junior high, the high school years, and the college years, you know, they're you know, extremely important in the development of a young person. You know, making the right decisions and building discipline and building good habits, or completely going the other way. So you know, hopefully my players say that I'm demanding, I get after it, but you know, I hope they all, you know, tell you that I care about them too.
Hold on. My computer's acting weird. What's happening?
I got one because, okay, well, I know you had one that you wanted to ask, but this kind of along what you were just talking about here, Coach, on, so this is your second year there. Have you been able to really get out on like the recruiting trail and stuff yet? Or because you changed like the stuff, I should know this. This is a dumb question, but Did the basketball programs at Sheridan and Gillette both go away at the same time?
They did, yeah.
Gotcha.
You know,
So you were able to, you get to CSU-Pueblo. You're down there last year. I assume you're not taking recruiting trips to very many places. So how in the hell does that work?
well, you know, that's kind of, you know, is kind of a slippery slope to go down. You know, we got the job down here in April of 2019, I believe it was, and
So right before it got silly.
yeah, so we went through our first season, and you know, right there, we were actually, our season finished in February of 2020. My assistants and I, we were actually literally driving back from Albuquerque from the New Mexico State tournament we were recruiting at, and that's when the world shut down. That's when the NBA called its season off. That's when all that stuff went down, and so you know, we knew we had a lot of guys to bring in for that next year, and but at the same time, you know, obviously with the pandemic, our university wasn't allowing, you know, students to come on campus or potential students to come on campus, and they weren't allowing employees to go off campus, which rightfully so. You know, that's obviously what you do in a pandemic. But so it was yeah, you know, we weren't able to be on the road for a good, you know, 4, 5, 6 months there, you know, not quite as long as Division I, but we were in a situation where we needed to bring in quite a few players, and we had to try to, you know, evaluate guys over film. We had to evaluate guys over the phone. We had to try to, you know, we had to take the word of people that had coached them or been around them. And, you know, I wouldn't say we batted 1,000 on those either, but, you know, just kind of the times, you know, so, you know, this summer was about that first summer that we were really able to get out and hit the ground running recruiting wise.
We've asked a couple of the guests. So I remember that the Wednesday night. So my wife volunteers in the nursery at the church. So
Okay.
she leaves to go. And that's the night, I think it was Utah and Oklahoma City were playing maybe. That's when they sent everybody home. And I was just watching on Twitter, just updating and seeing everything. And when she got home, she was gone about 2 hours. And I told her that I couldn't even describe to her what had it was insane
Yeah.
to watch what happened. So you're driving back on a car ride when this is going on?
Yeah, we're literally in a car driving back from the Mexico State tournament. And it was a sad deal, you know, especially, you know, they shut down the NCAA tournament because just being, you know, a year removed from Sheridan College, we had multiple guys that were about to either play in the national tournament or, you know, have a chance to win their conference tournament championship game to get to the national tournament, to get to March Madness, which, you know, is every D1 player's dream is to play in the March Madness and, you know, be on TV and stuff. And so we had multiple guys, you know, just kind of their dreams got shot down, and it was a crazy time for everybody.
We got you back, Jack. You got her figured out.
Yeah, it was just
Okay,
playing the audio for some reason.
Okay.
Okay. Who are some players that you like the most for this season?
On our team, you know, we've got some older guys that, you know, like I was talking about, we actually, this year we were able to, you know, we needed a couple older transfers to come in, and we were able to actually bring them to campus, meet them, sit down with them, talk to them, work them out, you know. So a couple of the older guys that we got, I'll start with Meekness Payne. Meekness Payne is from Arizona. I actually recruited him to Sheridan when I was there. He ended up going to Arizona JUCO instead, and then from there he went to University of New Hampshire. And so he was at New Hampshire the last 2 years, and he'll be a junior for us this year. He's, you know, 6'6", 6'7", strong, skilled, can step out, hit the three, but can also score inside, can guard, you know, the 4 and the 5 for us. Elijah Molion is a big 5-man that we got from Texas. He's about 6'7", 260, great hands, great feet. You know, I'm hoping Coach Riston doesn't see much of him because he might try to snag him as a left tackle next year or something. But he's awesome. He's physical. He's almost too physical. He likes to bang, and sometimes he picks up some unnecessary offensive fouls. But those two guys inside are really going to help out. Our returners that we have, our 4 returners that we brought back, starts with Leon Ramiro, our point guard. He's a COVID freshman, so he gets a year back, so he's still a freshman. He came to us from Grandview High School up in Aurora. All the freshmen in the RMAC last year, he led all freshmen in scoring and assists. So, I mean, he's got a chance to be a big-time player over the next 4 years for us. Tristan Hurdle from Highlands Ranch, another COVID freshman, started every game for us last year. 6'4", 6'5", can just, shoot the snot out of it. We got Malcolm Little. He's a transfer from Northern Colorado. He's going to probably have a couple different doctorate degrees by the time he leaves, because at Northern Colorado, he redshirted, and then he spent his COVID year there last year. So he's a third-year freshman for us this year. So those guys have looked really good. We've got a young man out of Fountain, Colorado, Isaiah Thompson. He's got a chance to have a real special career. He's one of the best rebounders I've ever recruited. So we got a good nucleus, a really good base, set. You look at our roster, we only have 12 people on our roster, and 9 of them are technically freshmen, even though we got multiple, COVID freshmen that have some experience under their belt, but, eligibility wise, they still got 4 years to go.
I was also took me 3 years to get through my freshman year, but that was totally different. That's not for this episode.
I was just telling one of my freshmen about my fall semester GPA as a freshman, so I'll just keep that between him and I.
Okay. Yep. It would have been a great ERA if you were pitching.
Yeah, absolutely. Clayton Kershaw out there.
Yeah, great numbers.
Yeah, I have Malcolm's autograph from the basketball camp. Yeah, because he was the coach for the 11s.
Okay. Did he teach you anything?
Yes.
Did he? Good.
Uh-huh.
That's good.
Talk about your recruiting process. What makes you different from the other coaches?
Oh goodness. I think obviously number one, it starts with our institution. We've got a great university, and a university that really, really supports their athletic department. The big reason we moved our family down here and took this job was because of our administration in the athletic department. Dr. Plinsky is a huge supporter of all teams, all programs, and he's someone that really sold us on the vision of where this department was going, and it's easy to see it when you get down here. The facilities that we have, the resources that we have. Along with that, I'd have to say our staff. We've got a younger staff. My top assistant, Matt Glover, he played Division I basketball and played professionally overseas. I played at Northern, which is a pretty high level Division II school. Played a little bit overseas after that. Tate Hilgenkamp played Division II basketball up at Black Hill State. So we got a lot of young guys that have played college basketball, and we like to be out on the floor with our guys and help them develop. We really don't recruit any guys that don't want to continue playing basketball after college, because we want guys that over the course of their career here, they want to be in the gym working, they want to be in the weight room with Coach Gale, getting after it, getting stronger, getting bigger, getting quicker, getting faster. That's really what we try to sell. We try to pride ourselves in developing guys, and we really haven't been able to show that just because we've been so young the last couple of years. But I think this year, once fans come out and watch our guys play, they're going to see a big jump from the team we had last year to the team we have this year.
I think that's one thing as a individual that was at even the old USC to the CSU-Pueblo change and the old Masari, it is wild now what has happened there on that east side. I get that's one part that has to suck, is to have those facilities and not be able to bring guys in and show it to them. Because the new arena, the way everything there, I haven't spent a lot of time at other colleges, but that seems like it is very top-notch equipment, and the Masari itself and just everything that has happened in the last 10 years there at campus.
Yeah, just the short, 2 years and 4 or 5 months that I've been here, the changes have been amazing. They put in the arena, they put in this big 32 or 34-foot video board on one of the walls on the baseline, redesigned our floor, brand new sound system. They completely resurfaced the track around the football field. Brand new turf on the baseball and softball fields. They built the art, which is an indoor facility for all of our turf sports. And so, yeah, and that's what kind of going back to what really sold us on taking the job down here was just, it was just a positive feel, it was an exciting environment. You could tell good things were happening here. And even going through the pandemic, a lot of that hasn't changed. Dr. Mote, our president, he's been doing a great job and really trying to grow our university and expand our university and under the leadership of our athletic administration, we'd be doing the same things with our sports.
That you talk about the video board, the podcast, the Paradox of Sports, we've started helping out with we have a tier 3 junior hockey team here, like 18 to 21-year-olds kind of working on getting into a college program. They got a big video board, and the guy we brought in is the coach, same thing as you. He's in his second full year. He talked about the in-game entertainment. You have to have a good product on the ice or the court, but now you have to look at there has to be entertainment nowadays for your crowd.
Yeah.
It sucks you can't just have them show up for great basketball. There has to be something else going on.
Well, that was the Pronghorn Center. The Pronghorn Center. You referenced it a little bit ago. When it was built, it was easily a top 20, top 25 junior college arena in the country, and then obviously to go on top of the support that Gillette has for their basketball programs, both at the high school and the college level. And then throw on top of that the level of dudes that Sean Neary was getting in there. Yeah, that's a tough place to play. I can't tell you how many. Probably you were probably one of them in the front row heckling me during games.
I was never like that. That wasn't my deal. They did make one big mistake with the Pronghorn Center. They should have put ice in it. That is, as the hockey community, they messed up there. They could have put ice in it. Real quick story. We're flying out for work. We're headed to Pittsburgh, and University of Texas plane flies, and Shaka Khan is waiting at the damn airport here. And I knew, I reckon, was that his name that coached at Texas?
Shaka Smart.
Or Shaka Smart. Yeah. So I knew I recognized him, but one of the mechanics that was with this was huge college basketball fan and recognized him. Yeah. He was coming in to watch it might have been you guys in Gillette College. If I don't remember who we were playing, but I just thought it was wild that he had flown in because there was a couple years here. There were some really good basketball players.
Oh, absolutely.
Both Sheridan and here.
Oh, absolutely. My first year taking over at Sheridan, they had, Cabell Bigby Williams was a freshman. Lorenzo Bonham was a sophomore. Bonham went to Utah and started a ton of games at Utah in the Pac-12. A year later, Cabell Bigby Williams, big 6'10" center. He was a national player of the year. The national player of the year at the JUCO level, goes to Oregon.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I remember him. Went to Oregon. Yep.
Played at Oregon for a year, and then he finished up at LSU. But and not just Gillette, around the region. Our second year there, I think it was Northwest College. They had it was our first year there. They had Chris Boucher, who's now playing with the Raptors. He was a national player of the year. Also went to Oregon to finish his career. But yeah, man, it was a lot of good basketball up there. But that Pronghorn Center, it was kind of going back to it. It was more of an event than it was a basketball game.
Yep.
They had the Kiss Cam up there, and the crazy part about it was us being the same school. Gillette and Sheridan, we're the same district, same president, same AD, same everything.
Yeah. Well, you I don't know if you've read the newspaper, but yeah, you were.
We were. Thank God. And that's, I applaud Gillette for that. That's awesome. Hopefully some people over in Sheridan wake up sometime soon. But that's one thing about Gillette is they always have great support. They love their sports over there, and Sheridan's got a lot of people that do support the athletics, but it's a little different over in Gillette. Especially more towards basketball. But yeah, it was fun. It was always funny looking up in the stands and wondering who the president was cheering for, the vice presidents were cheering for, who the AD was cheering for. So it was a great experience. It was fun.
That's wow. That's something I never even thought about. But yeah, you kind of had two sons there playing at the same time, trying to kill each other.
Yeah, well, the crazy part about it, when I got there, Steve Smiley was the men's basketball coach at Sheridan, but he was also the athletic director. So he was the AD for Gillette College and Sheridan, So, I mean, and then that my first year there, I was interim AD. So, I'm sitting there, like, this is weird. You're supposed to be my rival, but I'm kind of helping you out with this over here. And so it was definitely a junior college experience. That's for sure.
Okay, Jack, I'll stay out of your way. I'll let you finish up here, buddy.
Okay. This may seem like a stupid question, but what are your goals for this season?
For this season, wow, my big thing is, we're laying a foundation here. We got a lot of young guys. We had a rough year last year. It was just about anything that could go wrong did go wrong. And, I'm excited just to get back on the court with the guys that we got and compete. I really feel, we've got the talent, the ability to play with anybody. I don't know where the chips are going to fall at the end of it, but I'm excited about what I've seen so far. So really with my goal, the big thing is in the RMAC, there's, now there's 15 schools. Our first year here, there were 16, but now there's 15 and only 8 make the tournament, so it's one of the tougher conferences in the country to get into your own conference tournament. You got to finish in the top half. And when you play 22 conference games and it's Friday, Saturday, back to back, and you're driving 4 hours from Gunnison and driving 4 hours over the mountain to Durango and playing the next day, it's not easy. So, our big goal this year is to make the RMAC tournament and hopefully be playing our best basketball at that time and keep building with these young guys that we've got.
What do you do in your spare time?
Well, it's kind of funny. We've got my wife and I, Mallory, we've got 5 kids. And so that keeps us pretty busy. The oldest is 13. The youngest is 2. I'm actually home right now with my youngest. I'm surprised he hasn't run in here yet, but I did my A+ parenting skills. I handed him the iPad right before I dialed in. And so I haven't heard from him since, but with our kids, we're, they're heavily involved in sports. Our girls are in softball and the other one's in soccer. Our boys we got twin boys that are 8 years old. They're in flag football and baseball. So we're pretty busy with that. I love to once in a while, if I can, get out on the golf course and hack a few, slice a few over a couple fairways to the right, but having a good time doing that. But honestly, I love sports. I'm not going to lie. My team are the Raiders. I've got the Raiders game going on right here, down 7-0 going into the second. But, I love sports, whether it's watching or getting out there. And, my wife's parents, they're big into pickleball. And so we'll go play some pickleball on the weekends at some random court. So, yeah, we try to stay active. We love it. We love it out here with all the, the different bike paths and the hiking and, over by the reservoir, getting out there and going on some of those trails and, going over the mountains once in a while. So we like to stay active.
Okay, Jack's got one more, and this will be my last question. You mentioned your wife a little bit. I don't know if people understand maybe, and it's at all levels, but it's damn sure at your level, how important / hard it is to be a head coach's wife. So I
Yeah.
assume from what you say, you got a hell of a mate there.
Yeah, no, and that's, it's kind of unique because up at Sheridan College, she was our women's head soccer coach up at the college. And
Okay.
so she's been a college head coach before, so she understands, there's really no difference between family and the team. Having the guys over here to the house eating, having guys coming over to work on homework or whatever it may be. She's thrown herself into it and she loves it. She usually she's the one, updating me on what former players are doing. Guys from Sheridan. We just had one of our point guards from our first few years there, just have his first child here a few weeks back, and she's sending gifts and all that stuff to him and stuff. So yeah, it's huge. It's important. I don't think there's a lot of people that look at college sports and he's a basketball coach or he's a football coach or she's a soccer coach, and they don't have anything going on until games start. That's not how it works. You're constantly recruiting, you're on the road, you're constantly working with guys, whether it's academically or whatever. So definitely I lucked out. I outkicked the coverage there, but she's been great, and we're really excited about making Pueblo our home and growing our relationships here in the community.
Okay. What was your favorite moment of your coaching career?
Ever? Well, we keep talking about the Pronghorn Center. It was my third year there at Sheridan. Our first couple of years were really rough, kind of like what we've experienced here. And our third year was kind of that first team that kind of got us over the hump. We ended up winning 23 games that year. And it was right when the Pronghorn Center opened. I think they had a prep team up there, and they played a prep team twice. And then, we were their first JUCO game in the facility. And we were right there with them in the first half, and it was a tie game. They ended the half on a 10-0 run, and everyone thought, we're done. They're just going to put it on us now. But our guys fought back and played one possession at a time, got stops when we needed it, and we got the win. And it was the first time in my career as the head coach there at Sheridan that we beat Gillette, which obviously, Uncle Kevin knows, that Gillette Sheridan rivalries, for real.
It's fun. We got our junior teams this weekend. We have Sheridan Gillette this weekend. So it doesn't matter what it is, man. It's wild. Anytime they're keeping score.
100%. Yeah. 100%. And so getting that win was awesome. I think that kind of, pushed our program to a level that I hadn't got it to before. And from then on, we had a lot of success there at Sheridan, and that was going back to also a second one. It was us playing Gillette at home, and our last year there, or no, excuse me, our second to last year there, playing them at home, and we had a bunch of freshmen. We had 2 sophomores, and they were, pretty highly ranked, and they had just, kicked our butts at their place a few weeks earlier. And our young guys played really well and got the win in front of a lot of fans there at the old Bruce Hoffman Golden Dome. So beating Gillette, it's two of my top memories as a coach.
Awesome.
But that's a credit to the program they had there. I mean, those guys had so many All-Americans, and Coach Neary won so many Region 9 titles and got to Hutch countless times. So being able to compete with those guys meant a lot to us.
There'll be some of those wins at Masari, man. Like it takes a year you got to get your guys in there, build your foundation and stuff, and it'll come. Like that's, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Coach, I cannot thank you enough for taking some time. We went way longer than I wanted to keep you.
You're fine.
Had I known you were a Raiders fan, I'd have had it on right here over my shoulder. So
there you go.
We appreciate it though. Thanks for taking some time. Good luck this season, and we'll definitely chat with you again.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys. Jack, thanks for having me on, my guy. My first podcast ever. Hopefully you get some viewings.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
All right, we cannot thank Coach Hammer enough. Actually, when we ended that, we went offline and we visited about another 15 minutes. It was cool to reminisce. Like I said, I'm actually up here in Gillette, Wyoming. The Pronghorn Center is just right over there. It sucked what happens with the basketball programs up here because Coach Neary had built the program here was phenomenal. Their guys, they were going D1 and then into the NBA. And Coach Hammer Sheridan was heading along the same path. It will happen in Pueblo. That program will be, I say 3 years and maybe 2 years, and you're talking RMAC champions and a badass basketball program. That's my prediction. Okay, Jack, give me some stats.
Yeah, I'm finding it right now.
We just did a 30-minute interview. You didn't find it? I'm just teasing.
Okay.
That's the magic of
the
TV.
first 4.
We didn't have a guest for the first 4?
Yeah, because it was the WrestleMania preview, WrestleMania recap, sports news, and Jack predicts the first round of the 2020 NFL draft.
That's right. And then Morgan Fox, which, I just looked it up the other day, dude. Morgan Fox got paid. He got a nice little deal. He's in Carolina now, right?
I think.
Yeah, so good for him.
All right. And then these 2 episodes between 39 and 40. These 2 things for Pueblo South and Pueblo Central.
Oh, those weren't episodes, though. Those were just 2 little. That's when we started kind of tinkering with just throwing stuff on the
And
YouTube
then there
page.
was episode 45, Jack's 2021 NFL mock draft.
Okay, yeah. No, you're correct. I do remember that.
Okay. And then
Well,
this is the biggest stat of them all. The John Moxley interview finally has more views than the rest of our videos combined.
Yeah, that's insane. And what's crazy is how many subscribers have continued to pile up. Okay, here's something.
2.44K, 2,440.
So
I don't
here
have
at
the correct number, but yeah.
We'll go ahead and just take care of some Paradox of Sports business right now on air. Have a production meeting on air. At the end of the month, the University of Wyoming hockey team and the Montana State hockey team are playing here in Gillette. So I was asked, I'm going to do the announcing for the game. Do you think that the Paradox of Sports should look into actually live streaming, having Jennifer announce the game and live streaming it through our Paradox of Sports YouTube page?
Yeah, but the live stream problem, you know how every NFL game says this is to not be reproduced in any form without written consent.
Yeah, we have the written consent. We are the consent. So it is not
consent.
Yeah, we are consent. So I bought that.
We have a better understanding of consent, 1,000 times better than Big Ben.
Yes, I'm not sure if you're old enough to make that joke, but okay, we'll do it. Yes, we have this YOLO. You have to look it up. The little YOLO live box. I bought that for the girls' hockey games this year. So we're thinking about for our Gillette television. I can't think of what GTA, whatever it's called. They have this camera we can rent for like $25. We're thinking about renting it and hooking it up to this and Aunt Jen doing the games that night. So more to come. If we do it, I'll make sure to run it by you and get all final permissions and everything set. So.
Okay.
I'm
watching the first video right now. I'm looking at the comparison between you and you. It's changed a little, not too much. But the comparison, me and me right now.
Yeah, I'm probably just the same. I'm probably just fat still. You've aged significantly in the last year and a half. I'd be curious how much taller you are than when we started this.
Yeah, I was probably 4'9" back then. I'm 5'1" now.
Yeah, so you're growing.
Dang. I'm trying to show it.
It won't show up because of your green screen on the back. People
Okay,
can
I'm
go
gonna
back,
turn
go
off
back
the
and-
green screen real
go
quick.
back and go back and watch the first episode, folks. That's what you gotta do.
Yes. Yeah, and
Now-
also follow my TikTok in the bio. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get 1,000.
Yeah, let's get to the TikTok stuff. Get that stuff on there too.
Yeah,
How was
follow
your
his
Broncos
too.
game?
Follow his too.
Like I don't really post videos.
But still,
How was your Broncos game?
it was good.
Was it more fun since you kind of got it taken away from you? Did you enjoy the whole experience more?
Yes.
Okay, that is cool. Last thing before we wrap up, let's talk fantasy. Where are you at with your fantasy team?
Okay, I'm looking right now.
Okay,
I had
gotta-
Tyreek Hill last week.
Okay, let me look at
I
mine
got
too.
47.6 points from him.
Nice.
So
I
let me look.
well, I'm gonna lose again. Son of a gun.
Okay,
I don't.
so
I do this thing where I leave lots of
Okay.
points on my bench.
although so I'm up on your brother 123 to 84. And he's got Mike Williams and Darren Waller left.
Oof. Okay. Are you gonna
Don't
win
worry.
or no?
Probably.
Okay.
The projections say so. Yeah. So
Beautiful.
I'm 2-1 right now. It's probably gonna become 3-1.
Okay. Are you only
I'm
in one
fifth
league?
ranked. What?
Are you only in one league?
Yeah, and then I help my dad out with another.
So you're kind of a general manager than other places.
Yeah. And
Okay.
we were gonna start a fantasy football league with me and my friends.
You
but
guys,
I just-
you don't have time, Jack. You don't have time to start any other fantasy anythings. So you are busy.
I
You'll
decided to
get
back out. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his Miles Gaskin stats. I'm wondering how. Oh, they abandoned the running game. Because my running back that I put up only had 0.3 points.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna go watch into this Raiders game. 50 episodes. We've done it. Maybe we'll get 50 more. We'll see. Okay. You want to give us our good closing? One of the old school
Okay.
Jack closings?
Need to turn around.
Got to turn around and do the old spin.
I'm not in the spinning chair. And that's it for this week's edition of the Paradox Sports Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
And TikTok.
And TikTok. And comment who was the best player ever to wear number 50.
Ooh,
The best
that's a
sports
good
player
one.
ever to wear number
I'll have to
50.
do some thinking. All right, sweet. Thanks again to Coach Hammer for the time. Go
Yeah.
Wolves.
And I'll think about it for the next episode.
That's the deal, dude. Later, Jack.
Later.